CB101 YouTube channel. What up, y'all? If you guys are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you guys are subscribed. Just search Millennial Skills in YouTube and you guys should find it. But we're here to talk about how to close more chatbot clients. And we, frankly, our agency was in a little bit of a slump the last few weeks. We knew that it was important moving into the last bit of the summer to have some momentum. And I always preach to our team that an organization is built on and thrives off of new business. So even if you have clients currently, you want to have a system that's constantly generating new business for your organization, because that's like oxygen. And so we had been going into a new niche and we had been trying some new things. And frankly, we weren't having the results that obviously we would have liked, but we didn't give up. We stuck with it. And there were a few things that we ended up doing that resulted in us being able to sign a client today. And I just kind of want to share with you some of those things that helps. So if you guys are catching this, whether it's live or on the replay, just hit the thumbs up button below and let me know who's here. I'd love to know who's able to catch this, and so we can connect. But there's three things that I wanted to talk about. The first was that we went back to doing trials. We were an established agency and we were charging people thousands of dollars to do the work. And I've always preached to people that you want to get paid for your work. However, we were going into a new niche. We were going into a new industry. And so we didn't have any case studies. We didn't have any experience. We didn't have any results. And frankly, we didn't have the confidence to be able to say, you know what, we're going to ask thousands of dollars for something that we can't really guarantee. And so what we did was, the first thing we did is we went back to trials. And there are lots of ways to kind of do trials. But what we decided to do is we went all the way and we said, you know what, we're going to pay even for your ad spend, right? We don't like literally there was zero commitment from them. There was no money put up or from them, nothing at all. And I don't encourage you necessarily to do that. What we've done before is we've made people pay for their ads. And I think that that's probably the best thing, so that you don't have to invest your own money into it. However, if you're in a position and we were just we just need case studies, we need results, we need to be able to show, we need our own experience so that we can get the skills. But then the second thing is we said we need case studies so that we can go out and leverage that and show that to other people and say, hey, here's what we did. And so what ended up happening was, because of this, we spent $100 on ads for this particular business. And from that, we're expected to get back anywhere between a 4 to a 9x return, right? So on those $100, we are expected to get a 4 to a 9x return, depending on how the next couple of days goes with the business. And so if you can now take that to another business and go, hey, we can get you 5 to 10x, returns. Well, all of a sudden you now have something powerful to deliver. And you say, yeah, this is what we've done for them. Here's what we can do for you. So similarly, that's kind of, the first thing that I want to just share with you is, if you are going into a new niche, right? Because what's the easiest way to sell? The easiest way to sell is through case studies, is through results, is through testimonials, right? Because then you're not selling, you're just showing your results for other people, right? And I think that what a lot of people struggle with is they go, well, I don't have results. I don't know what to do. I've never done this before. And if that's the case, well, then what you can do is you can do the trial. Now, the second thing that we did, though, as I'll share with you, is we kind of adjusted our prices based on the niche, right? Now, I'm telling you that this is something that we've done because we're going into a new niche, right? We have a niche that's established, and that we have, we have more established processes and systems, and we charge a lot more for them. But for this one, I was talking to our partner, and it was like, hey, we're kind of not struggling, but it's we're struggling to see the results that we wanted to, right? It's things aren't clicking at the rate that we should. So I was trying to figure out, well, what could we do just to get us a little bit closer to where we want to be? We're already investing into ads. We're already putting money into this niche. And so this isn't going to be something that we're going to do, short term. This is something that we're committed to. So we decided, well, let's just bump our prices down a little bit so we can get some cash flow. We can pay our contractors. We can pay our people. It'll at least fund our case studies and allow us to keep pursuing this niche without us putting all the money in ourselves, right? And so the second thing is after the trial is you may just want to, like I always tell people, like have an ascending level of prices, right? Like your first customer will be at like a wall. I find that certain people always hit these walls, right? And I've coached salespeople since I was 17 years old. So that's why I'm telling you this, right? You know, a lot of marketers, they'll tell you what they read in books. I've literally been coaching salespeople since I was 17 years old. And I've seen this happen over and over and over and over again. And I've seen it happen myself. And it's that people hit this wall of what they feel confident asking for. They hit this wall, this number that anything above that number, they start to get weirded out by. Anything above that number, it's like, ooh, I don't know, right? And I'll share, like Dan just hopped on. There was times, several months ago, quite a few months ago, where we were having a conversation, and he was like, well, after above this number, I feel like I have to justify myself. And it's like, all right, perfect. Okay. So let's figure out what that number is. What's the number that we feel like anything above, it's like, I'm not going to feel comfortable with. Okay. So once we identify that number, I'm curious for you guys, like, what's that number for you? Like what number do you absolutely feel confident, like no brainer asking for, that like anything else you would feel kind of insulted by, right? Because that's the number, is like, how much do we respect ourselves to be able to confidently ask for? I think that's a really valuable thing to think about. Let me know your number. I'm curious. So what are we talking about? Okay, so we're talking about prices here, right? So let's, did I go over all of them? The second thing, I didn't even talk about all, I just jumped right in, right? The second thing is that we tested, okay? We tested a ton of stuff, all right? We tested a ton of stuff, and we had to find a winner, right? Is the reality. We didn't know what was going to work. Frankly, the stuff that we were beginning at the beginning wasn't working. It really wasn't, like, nothing was, people weren't clicking on the ad, and then people weren't putting in their phone number. So it was like, we had to build out all of the systems and find out what works, right? So here's, let's see, 3 ways to get new clients. Okay. All right. Now, some of you guys might be going, well, I don't want to lower my prices. I don't want to do trials. And I agree. I hear you. I don't like doing trials either. And so I'm glad that now we don't really have to, once you get a case study, once you have some experience, you can now take that case study and shine that around everywhere you like, and everywhere you can, really. Now, the next thing that I'll talk about, though, that we did is we tested. Okay. Now, here's something that you need to make sure that you're doing, like whenever you're creating new campaigns. Like, I think a lot of people forget about this, right? A lot of people forget about this. Simon says no idea, okay, about his number. So the rest of you guys, I'm curious, I would encourage you to identify that number and to figure out what that is, so that you can build, your confidence level and build out your system. Because the next level is like, okay, well, now that we've gone through, we didn't just try and we did throw a bunch of darts. We didn't just try and take a sniper approach and just try and make one ad work, right? If we're taking on a new client, if we're getting into a new industry, if we're trying to attract a new type of client, there's a lot of times we're not going to know all the answers. And so A/B testing is so valuable when you're going into a new niche and when you're going into a new industry, because you need to figure out what works. And oftentimes what we test the most, because that's the probably the most impactful, is the ad, right? We run a lot of we run ads for our clients. That's one thing that we do. And maybe that's a given, but we just find that an easy complement to our chatbots are our Facebook ads, right? But instead of telling people that we run Facebook ads, everybody runs Facebook ads. We work them through, we tell them we have a software sales system that helps them to automatically convert interested prospects, through Facebook Messenger. That's what we do. But my point is that we tested stuff. There was lots of stuff that didn't work, and there was lots of stuff that wasn't effective. And I'll show you, I hop into the ads manager. We had quite a few, where is it here? We had quite a few ad sets that we had to test, right? Until we found a winner. Like you'll notice that we went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ad sets. And we did the Michigan method where we had one ad set or one ad per ad set. And it took out of all 5 of those, it took, we just landed on one that actually worked. So you have to test. You're never going to know. Now, here's the cool thing. On the next campaign that we set up, on the next one that we run, we don't have to test. There's no testing that's involved. We can just go right in and we can build off this. Now we know that this ad set works, this targeting works, this ad works. So let's go and let's maybe tweak and adjust and see if we can get an even better result based off of this stuff. However, that's really, really important when you are testing, is just to make sure that you have enough options. And then the next go around, well, you don't have to test anymore. So I think that's just a helpful tip for y'all. All right. Let's see. What questions do you guys have? I think that sounds like a lame response, right? I think that's like a cop out, I think, because people are like, well, you're supposed to be the expert. I'm here to learn from you. And I think that's right. But at a certain point, I feel bad if I just sit up here and rant about what I want to talk about. So, whatever. All right. The last one is follow-up. Okay. So here's what I would ask. If you're just sitting there learning, all right, just smash the like button when you hear something that's good, right? Because the more that you hit the like button, the more people that will hop on and see this and be able to benefit from this group and this channel. So I'd appreciate all the likes. And there's my engagement bag. All right, here we go. Let's get into the last one, which is follow-up. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so we build our campaigns MVP style, because for me, like, especially if I'm going to do trials, right? If I'm going to do trials, I don't want to do more work than I have to if I'm not getting paid for it yet. And here's what I mean. You can spend, and this is just also a restriction of time. I have 3.5 different businesses that I'm running. I've got a baby on the way, obviously a marriage to maintain. And then, I think that's enough. That's really all I have in my life. But that being said, I want to find ways to be able to be effective and efficient. And one thing that you can employ is the MVP method. And what I mean by that is that we're looking for a minimum viable product. Maybe we'll call it an MVC, right? We'll call it the MVC method, because it's really a minimum viable campaign. And what you want to do is, the first thing that you want to do is you want to figure out, okay, what ad is going to work, right? Or what initial welcome message, right? Like you want to build them out in stages, right? So the first thing that you figure out is the ad, or the hook, right? And then the next thing that you figure out is, okay, are they engaging in the bot? All right. And then the next thing that you figure out is, okay, are they taking the call to action? So when you have this MVC, what you do is, the first thing we do is we build out the ad, right? We build out the ad, and it's like, all right, are people clicking? It's like, some people, it's really funny when people, they want to make changes to the website when no one's clicking on their ad, right? It's like, they're like, oh, let's make a new website. Our ad isn't working. And it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Like, change the ad, fix the ad, build it out in stages. Like, if you spend all of this time building out this elaborate chatbot, but people don't actually click your ad, well, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, so find an ad that works. Okay, cool. The ad works. All right, awesome. And then while the ad is you're testing the ad. Okay, making sure that you have the chatbot an MVC setup for the chatbot, right? We put out, kind of the base product, and then we watch and we tap and we assess, okay, where are they getting stuck, right? And what happened is during this follow-up, people weren't going all the way through and giving their phone number, right? They weren't going all the way through and actually scheduling. So what we did is we built in follow-up questions. What's great is, like, remember, it's a chat bot, so you can do the follow-up with them. And so we just built in follow-ups, and we ended up converting, I think, like twice as many people, just because we had a couple of messages that followed up and said, hey, did you still want it? Yes or no? And if they did, we got their information. So building in follow-up sequences with chatbots is another way that you can actually improve your results without necessarily needing to spend any more money. So these were the things that we did that helped us. And I think that hopefully it might help you too. So John, I appreciate it. Thanks for reminding me. Travis, thanks for hanging out. And I would encourage you guys, to figure out, and this is only if you're not where you want to be, right? You may say, Hector, but I'm closing, 10 new clients every single week, and we're doing that, without any ad spend or whatever. I mean, if you're pumping, you're rocking, awesome, great. But for me, I am always one to try and find solutions, right? It's like, okay, if something's not working, like, I'm not going to necessarily always, like, I'm not just going to keep doing the same thing. I'm not going to give up, but I'm going to assess my results, and I'm going to go, okay, how can I fix this, right? Like, what do I need to do to adjust? How do I need to pivot a little bit while making sure I'm still going in the same direction, right? Or it's not even like a pivot. It's really like a course correction more than anything, right? Like I think that a lot of people, what ends up happening is they pivot. But if you think about it, if you pivot too many times, you end up just spinning in a circle, right? If you think about a basketball player who's pivoting, they're just spinning in a circle. And so you want to make sure that your business isn't doing that by making too many hard pivots, right? You want to make course corrections at each step. And so that way, okay, like, for example, we ran the ad for a few days. We got people into the bot. A couple of them converted. Quite a few of them didn't. So then we threw those people into the follow-up sequence, and then boom, we converted, basically we doubled our conversions by just having that little quick follow-up sequence. And so for you, it's like, that's the same thing. It's like, you got people in, okay, build out that follow-up sequence so that you can try and convert some of those people towards what you actually want. All right, I think that's all I got. If you guys want to talk more, and you guys want to hang out, I need you guys to hit the like and the love button lots of times. But otherwise, I hit my 15-minute mark. I think I invited lots of people. Hopefully you got some value. Hopefully we answered some questions. If you guys aren't signed up for Friday's training on how to start earning passive income, just comment passive income and we'll get you the link for that, or training, whatever is easier. I don't know. Comment something. We'll get you that link. But guys, I just have to thank you for being part of Chatbot 101 and making this place worth coming back and hanging out in. If you guys were not watching, if you guys were not liking, if you guys were not engaging on this stuff, I would not do these videos. It would not be worth it for me to do these videos. But because you guys show up, because you guys hang out, because you guys like and comment and ask questions, it incentivizes me to show up. So I ask, right, that if you get value out of this stuff, that you do that, because then it makes it worth it for everybody, and we can continue to do these trainings. We can give out all the free resources that we do and try and change the world like we are. All right. You guys have an amazing one. And let's see. If you guys got questions, throw them down. I'm going to hang out. But anyways, hopefully you guys are enjoying your week. And we'll see you all another day.